Hello and welcome back to another video. In this video I'm going to be breaking down everything that you need to know about Judy with some gameplay towards the end. Before we begin, make sure you're subscribed and like the video below. So we know Judy is a ranged guardian, so she works well in a team as a support and a tank guardian. She doesn't really need anyone specifically to do any better, but I usually use her with Baymax or Oogie, and Belle or Frank, and even Mickey sometimes. However, he is a limited guardian, so you may not have him. Judy is great when it comes to crowd controlling, especially against swarms. You can find swarms in Chapter 5 and Chapter 6 of the story mode. This is my Judy. She's currently at 5 stars, rank 5, level 50, and at this moment in time she's one of the better range guardians in the game, and someone I will definitely be investing in. But moving on to the core ability. Judy's core ability, Rooting Carrots, makes it so Judy's critical hits inflict a 10% defense debuff that does not expire. If they have 3 or more defense debuffs, then they become rooted. This ability has a cooldown of 20 seconds, so it's not really that reliable. Each time Judy throws her heavy attack, she gains a 15% critical chance buff for 3 seconds. It can also expire when she hits an enemy. Now onto her special ability. Judy's special ability hits a sizable radius around her enemy that deals 400% damage. Each target is also rooted for 10 seconds. This is great when you're faced against swarms, as you can root them and move away from their reach and take them out without taking any damage. Now moving on to her signet ability. Whenever the encounter starts, all enemies receive a permanent defense debuff. Also, if the special ability crits while the enemy has 3 or more defense debuffs, then there is a chance the enemy will be stunned instead of rooted. This is not very consistent, so you can't always use this effectively to stop enemy specials. Now, moving on to her talents. For Judy, the talents I use are longer roots, countermeasures, and electrifying moves. Longer roots is pretty self-explanatory. The roots from Judy's core ability last longer. Countermeasures allow Judy to have a chance of gaining a 10% focus buff that lasts the entire encounter whenever an enemy is defeated. Electrifying moves now allows for Judy's special ability to deal shock damage to all her targets it hits. Now moving on to the gameplay. For this gameplay I've brought in Judy and Mickey into Chapter 4 Hard. So as you can see, when I use my heavy attack I gain that critical chance buff, and this expires as soon as I as soon as I land that heavy attack. So as you can see, those defense buffs are going on to the opponents. If I use my special, the enemy is rooted. If that was a tank or melee guardian, they wouldn't be able to do anything. But because it's ranged, they are able to hit me. As you can see, that guardian had 3 defense down buffs, which meant that they became rooted. Now let's move on to the boss, which is the Oogie Boogie boss. Okay, so let's aim for Merida rather. Let's root him. It's not very useful because they're ranged guardians. Let's use Mickey special. As you can see, that Oogie is actually rooted and he can't do anything because he's a tank guardian that doesn't have any ranged attacks. Let me heal up again. If I use my special again, now Scrooge will be rooted, which again, now he's stunned actually because of Judy's signet ability. If I just focus on Scrooge, should be fine. Mickey's dead, that doesn't really matter. Okay, now again the ranged guardians hit 3 defense down debuffs and therefore was rooted. And Oogie is basically rooted again and he can't do anything. So now we just have a tank guardian. If I just use my special, I'll literally stand here, he cannot do anything at all. So this is one of the best things about Judy. You can just move far away and start attacking, and feel free to carry on, because then nothing will happen. And again, this is where you should probably be using your heavy attacks, because there's less of a risk of being hit. And there you go. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.